So, welcome back. And now I'd like to talk about more consistency in terms of our self concept. So, are you the same person wherever you go, or do you adapt to the environment and social situation? Think about how you might act in school, your place of worship, a bar, a village community, your home, or with friends, your parents, or your partners. Even how consistent we are in our self concept across situations can be influenced by our culture. In studies, researchers have noted cultural differences in the level of self consistency shown by participants. As described in our book, in one study in which Japanese and American participants were asked to sit in different contexts, such as a professor's office with the professor present, with fellow students, in a large group, or alone, and while in those contexts described themselves, they found that Japanese participants varied in how positively they self described depending on the contexts. Fewer positive aspects were described when they were with the professor or in a large group, and more when they were alone. In contrast, American participants responded by self describing more positively than Japanese altogether, and similarly across contexts. Cultures vary in degree individuals are motivated to be consistent across situations. This calls into question how we research personality, given that it might change across contexts. Cognitive dissonance, codified by social psychologist Leon Festinger, proposes that we have strong motivations to be consistent. So when we perceive inconsistencies in our own self concept, we often feel distress. Our motivation for consistency compels us to resolve the dissonance. Doing so either entails changing our behaviors to align with our attitudes or changing our attitudes. This is generally what is shown in traditional studies on cognitive dissonance. So I bring in these pictures because recently my husband bought a new car, and he wound up looking at the Subaru Crosstrek and the Honda HR-V, and he chose to get the Honda. And anytime anything comes up, we see that he will rationalize his choice by emphasizing what is desirable about his car choice and downplaying what is undesirable. We do this for the opposite of the thing not chosen. So if he sees a Subaru Crosstrek, he would not be emphasizing what would have been desirable because he wants to stick with his own decision, his own consistency, his own idea of that he made the right choice. So I love the study discussed in our book about the implications of self-inconsistency. It's somewhat like the deserted island records stories that people have. So in this study, Japanese and Canadians participants were asked to rank a list of 10 CDs. They were then offered to choose to keep either their 5th or 6th ranked CD. Then they were asked to re-rank the list of CDs. And they found that Japanese kept the consistent ratings, whether they took the 5th or the 6th ranked CD, it stayed in that rank. Canadians, though, revised their rankings towards their chosen CD. Later, research revealed that Japanese will rationalize their decisions after they've decided for others. They want to stay consistent with other people's expectations, but not necessarily deciding for themselves. So these findings suggest that Westerners or North Americans aspire for consistency within themselves, while East Asians strive for consistency with other people's expectations. But what benefit is there to being consistent? In a study by Su in 2002, they compared South Korean and US groups and found that cultures differ in the benefits derived from self-consistency. The study asked people to indicate how well a list of traits characterized them in different situations, such as with friends, families, their professor, or alone. Consistency coefficients calculated for each individual revealed how similarly people viewed themselves across situations. Specifically, they found for US participants, self-consistency had strong positive correlations with well-being, social skills, and likability. For South Korean participants, there were similar positive and even negative correlations. So for the US, self-consistency has its rewards. People feel better about themselves if they see themselves as consistent or authentic, and other people view them as skilled and likable. In South Korea, there may be fewer benefits to being consistent. Being consistent was not found to be associated with feeling good about oneself or being perceived as socially skilled or likable. As such, Koreans are less likely to be consistent across situations as we found in the US. So again, we'll stop here, and then we have one more very brief video.